Because as you know better than I do, Matt, the mystery is that you alluded to recruiting a few minutes ago, that outside of Alabama, Ohio State, Florida State, I would say in the last 5 years, nobody has been on par with LSU's recruiting, but those other schools aren't going 9-3, 8-4 every year. So something's wrong. Something's been wrong with talent development or scheme or something that just hasn't worked out. And obviously the trigger man hasn't been there at quarterback either. All right, we got Matt Moscona on the line with us. You can catch him on ESPN New Orleans, ESPN Baton Rouge. His show is Upon Further Review. Matt, let's move on to the SEC. Let's look at the Western Division. So Alabama's the juggernaut. They're the perennial favorite. LSU, actually the last program that's kind of met them step for step for step, and it was that 2011 championship game that seemed to separate them ever since. Your thoughts about the Western Division? Can anybody jump up and challenge the Tide?
If somebody can find a quarterback, they can, and I don't know that that quarterback exists in the SEC West right now. I could actually extend that to the entire conference, which is, I think, the two biggest things that have caused this sort of recession in the SEC are coaching hires and quarterback play. I mean, you could rewind to 2013, where you had in the SEC at one time A.J. McCarron, who won a couple of national titles, Aaron Murray, who set every SEC career passing record. You had Johnny Manziel, a Heisman Trophy winner. You had Zach Mettenberger, a 3,000-yard passer at LSU. James Franklin, who was one of the best ever to go through Missouri. Connor Shaw won 11 games twice. He was probably the sixth best quarterback in the league that year. Those guys aren't there in the SEC right now. So for anybody to challenge Alabama, they've got to develop a quarterback that can do what Deshaun Watson did, which is single-handedly take over a game and put 40 on that defense. And I don't see that guy in the SEC right now. You know, maybe a guy like Shea Patterson at Ole Miss. Ole Miss quarterbacks have had success against Alabama. Maybe Shea Patterson continues to develop. You know, maybe you can look at a guy like Nick Fitzgerald at Mississippi State. Could he be sort of the Dak Prescott mold? A lot of people are big on Jarrett Stidham, the Baylor transfer, going to Auburn. Could they be a 40-point per game type offense, and if so, challenge Alabama? Maybe, but those are all big ifs, and there's no team that going into the season you look at with a veteran quarterback that you can say that's the team that's going to challenge Alabama right now. And if Alabama's getting a national championship game, basically hiding a true freshman quarterback like they did with Jalen Hurts last year, I don't know who is ready to step up and beat them right now in the West or in the SEC as a whole.
Yeah, it seems as though Brett Bielema has hit his ceiling at Arkansas. The progress was there year to year, his first several seasons, and it looked pretty ugly down the stretch, losing to Mizzou on the road, losing a bad bowl game with a 24-0 lead against Virginia Tech. You mentioned Connor Shaw. I think he's been lowly regarded or marginally regarded amongst college football fans, but one of my favorite stats, Matt, 24-1 TD to pick ratio his final season in South Carolina. That's incredible. He was extremely efficient and a mobile quarterback that got the job done there in Columbia.